Hello and welcome to this place on the internet where I talk about all the things I make, mostly knitting, and I am here to share with you the things I have been working on the past. And I always say that the past, but I never know how long it has been since I recorded the last video. It's been quite a while, so just let's get started. I always start with what I'm wearing. I'm wearing like this yellow, my blouse is buttoned. It's a dress, tricot, sewn dress. I made that. It's cut out low. It's meant to go over a tank top or a little shirt, so that's fine. Yeah, I sewed that for our holiday because we already have been on vacation. We are just back for a week now. Yeah, exactly a week now. I needed some dresses, so I sewed that one. It's sloppy, there are all kind of things wrong with it, but I'm wearing a handmade item and I'm wearing something else. I'm wearing some bracelets I made. Let me see if I can show you. The bottom one is knotted like macrame, and I'm wearing this all summer. It's faded and it's not the nicest anymore, and I beaded some bracelets the last few days and I'm very much liking them. So I'm wearing handmade stuff, but not like a huge knitted sweater or something like that, but something to show you. Okay, just let's get started with all the things I want to show you, because there is quite a lot of stuff here in front of me, just outside of the view of the camera. So yeah, I will show you some things. And the first thing is a finished object. I think I haven't shown it on camera finished. I've shown it a lot of times that I have been working on it. It is my shawl design I made. I'm still haven't got the time to write the pattern down the way I wanted it, and I need to weave in some ends, I see. Yeah, quite a lot of ends need to weaving in, so not quite a lot. The beginning and the end of the handspun skein, and a few ends here and there for the green yarn. That was not one skein, it was a bit more. So I know I have talked a lot about how I wanted to finish this side of the shawl. It's a huge chevron. It starts very small, like there in that little corner. And I just let it grow in a certain ratio, and I'm loving it. And the first idea I had was doing something funky with mirroring and stuff like that, which would have been cool, but it was very hard to with handspun. It's very hard to determine halfway of your skein, and when you're halfway in grams or weight, it doesn't mean that you're also halfway in length, because sometimes your yarn thickness is different from the beginning or from the end or halfway. So you try to make it as constant as possible, but that's not always possible. So that's why I decided, well, I will use all my handspun, and then I will see what I do on the other end. I was thinking maybe some lace or something else, but it's already quite a big shawl. So I was like, well, I will just finish it. I did a nice I-cord bind off, because all those stripes are knit in garter stitch, and the handspun is knit in stockinette stitch. So I did an I-cord bind off to give that little bit of depth to that green color that it has all through the shawl, so I thought that was a nice thing to do at the end. I was like, well, I will just bind it off and I will see if it's a wearable shape and if it needs more length, which it doesn't, but like I will just try it out first and then we will see what we do. So because of the slip stitches I have in the center, it has a natural folding point, which is a nice thing because you can always wear it like a scarf folded over. I think that's always nice. But the nice thing about this corner, and it's been a while since I tried it because, as I said, we've been away and I haven't been working on it for quite a while, so I need to see how I did it. But you can put that corner over your shoulder and then you have like a point in the back and a point in the front, and that's like you normally have 2 points in the front, and I like it that there's also something covering your back, and because of this shape it just stays that way, so you have a nice feature on the back and a little bit on the front, and you have the other end over here, and I think it's a fun way to wear the scarf. And of course you can also tie this. Never be afraid to tie your knits, by the way. I once made a shawl for someone and I haven't told them yet, because when are you going, I gifted something and you're not gonna say like, well, afterwards, like you can say something like, well, it would be nice to wear it like this, or it would be nice to wear it like that, but the moment you gave it and it's been a while and you're seeing someone and they're not wearing it the way you think is best, it's strange to then say like, well, maybe you should wear it. I'm not the person that does that, I think, so I'm not gonna do that. But it was a shawl. So my battery died. Preparation, everybody. I hope I didn't screw up the setting of my camera too much. My camera needs the battery changed on the underside, and my camera is on a mount which is screwed to the underside, and it's overlapping the flappy thing for my battery, and yeah, so I always have to take my camera off completely to change my battery. So I can leave the mount standing the way it is, but the way you screw on the camera also, like, yeah. So I completely forgot what I was telling you. At the moment it was something about the scarf. I really like it. I'm going to write out the pattern, but I just have to find the time for it. I have to make the time for it. That's a better way to say it. Yeah, I think now I'm talking about it that maybe I have already shown it kind of finished. So if that's the second time I showed it, just go with it. I like it. I will write the pattern for you all, and I'm just proud of it, and I like it, and you've shown it. I've shown it you twice now, I think, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Let me see. There are quite a few new things on the needle. I think 3 new things. Three new things. Oh my god, this is gonna be a video like that. Okay. Let's see. I will first show you something in this very old bag that has a hole in it, I see. So I either need to fix that or say, it was a scrappy project bag, maybe it has seen his best life. We will see. In this project bag there is very nice yarn. You've seen this before. This is my own hand-dyed yarn, and a skein of glowhair from Stephen and Penelope, and people that have seen my videos before will know what I am making out of that, and it's gonna be gorgeous. Let's see. One sleeve that you have already seen if you have watched my videos before, so otherwise it's the first time you see them. This is the other sleeve, and I started on the body. I'm not that far in. I casted on. I don't know if that was the last video. I think I'm missing one in my memory. So I don't know if I've shown this before or not. So maybe this will be a complete video showing you everything I have already shown you. No, that can't be true because there are new things from the past few weeks. But like, maybe you've seen this as well. I started the body. It's all knit in pieces. This is the back, I think. Doesn't matter for the first part, so I have to decide on the top if it's my front or my back. But yeah, it's so fun to work on. I put it aside for a bit because I was already also knitting a sweater for my dad, who wanted a old style, or wanted, I offered to make it for him and he said yes, I would like that. A fisherman's sweater, jumper sweater, which I started, and that did put this on hold a bit. But I really like this pattern. It looks very complicated with the cables. It's a very easy cable. It's two cables close to each other, and that makes it look like a braided cable, but it's just two cables very close to each other, and one is twisting one way, the other is twisting the other way, and they're not like they do not twist on the same level, so that's why you get this braided effect. It's a pattern from, oh, I always forget her name. It's from Pompom issue 31, and it's the, let me see, I should have prepared this as well, and I just, well, whatever. Let's see. It is the salting sweater from Sarah Salmon, and it's the cover sweater of this issue, and I just fell in love with everything about this sweater, so that's why I'm knitting it in quite a similar color. I really did my best to match the color on the cover, so yeah. I really want to work on this again. It's very soft. They give a lot of rain next week, so I think there will be a lot of inside time and maybe a little bit more knitting time for that matter. So yeah, I think I've already shown this as well, so just shall we put in something new, because maybe that's nicer for you to watch than all the things I've already shown. Well, no, it's always nice to show off your knits, whether it's something you've worked on for a lot the past few days or something that's old and you're like, well, I really want to start this again, and it's something I really want to start working on again. So it's all fine. It's my space on the internet. I can talk about anything I want. Okay, let's see, which one will I show? I have two socks on the needle. One I can show you, one I will show you at the, well, I will just show you, and I will, oh, let's see. Maybe I will keep that as the last thing I show, because it's the mystery pattern by Stephen West, the color, the contrast blast socks, which is the summer sock along or something like that. It's a pattern by Stephen and Penelope. I am on clue 2 and I'm not completely done with clue 2. So if you don't want to see clue 2, skip the last part of this. Don't go away now. Just keep a little bit, just keep spending time. But at the end I will show you those Contrast Plus socks, and if you don't want to see it, I will give a spoiler alert and you will be able to put out the video in time if you don't want to see it. So enough ramble, let's show you the sock I can show you. It is out of this yarn. This is West Yorkshire Spinners. Let me see if I can get it a little bit closer. And this colorway is Robin, called Robin, which is the name of my lovely brother who lives in Sweden. I don't live in Sweden, I live in the Netherlands, so there is quite some distance there. And when they, I don't know if it was the moment they launched yarn or that it was just the first time I saw it, but somewhere around Christmas a few years back I saw this yarn and I saw the name of the yarn, and the colors are inspired by the little bird robin. So yeah, I really liked that, so I bought 3 skeins, one for me, one for my brother who knits as well, and one for my mother who crochets. I think my mother gave her skein to Robin and asked him to knit her a pair of socks. Can you still follow me? So my brother will knit the socks for my mom, because I sent her a crochet pattern for socks, but it wasn't really her thing, and that's fine. So then she will have Robin socks knit by Robin, so there will be extra Robin. So it's been laying around for yeah, a few years, and I finally cast it on socks and I'm starting to knit them. They look very weird, and it has a few reasons. One of the reasons is that the top part I'm knitting in a rib stitch, and the bottom is knit in stockinette stitch, and I'm still not sure if that was the best choice. There was a pattern with the yarn, which is somewhere, I don't know where. I kept it, but I can't remember where I put it. But I know it was a kind of a ribbed sock, and my brother knit the pattern that came with the yarn, and I was like, well, I can't be bothered with finding that pattern now, but I will just make up something with a rib so it looks kind of similar but is a bit different. But I really love how the stripes are looking in plain stockinette stitch. So I'm like, did I make the right choice to do it ribbed on the top? But ribbed socks fit very nice, so it will be fine either way. It is fun to work with the yarn. So it will be fine, but that was a thing. And the other way, that's why the top is like scrunched up and the bottom part is looking floppy, so that's something that makes it look weird. And another thing is not necessarily making it weird, but makes the shape a little different than I'm maybe used to, and that's that I did toe up, which I don't do often, but every time I do it I like it. The only thing with toe up socks is that I find it very hard to find a bind off that is stretchy enough to fit over my foot and my leg, but is also neat enough that I like the look of the finish. Most of the time stretchy bind-offs get a little floppy, a little too stretched out, or yeah, I can't explain, but I don't really like stretchy bind-offs. So we will see about that. But yeah, I really like knitting toe-up socks. But what I did for the decreases of the gusset, I didn't do them like on the top of the foot, but I hid them underneath the heel. I don't know if you can see that. So I got a funky thing going on here, like a triangle. I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, so I started at the center of the foot and I did the increases there. I said decreases because I normally knit top down and then you decrease for the gusset. But I increased. So I started in the middle of the underside of the foot and I increased until there was enough fabric there. And then I did some short rows to create the back of the heel, and then I knit a heel flap. Yeah, and the heel flap I did in the same ribbing as I did the rest of the socks. So at the top here it comes together nicely, the ribbing from the front and the ribbing from the heel flap, so that's very, very nice. What I tried to do, but I'm not sure if I did it the way I really liked it. What I tried to do is add ribbing on the place where I added the increases, that the ribbing came in on the foot a little bit more, because otherwise you would have like a large plain stockinette stitch side of the foot to the ankle. I'm not sure, but it's a tryout thingy. I like playing with shapes and stuff. So yeah, this is a pair of socks that's on the needles. I haven't knit on it since we went on holiday. I did take it with me, but I just didn't knit on it. I was thinking maybe in the car it would be a nice project, but I knit something else in the car. So yeah, that's a new project. I'm sure I haven't shown you this one yet, so that's nice. I'm knitting those on 15 centimeter double pointed needles. These are the carbons by, are they by Knit Pro? I think so. Those are 2mm needles. I like the feel of the carbons. They're really nice to knit with. 2mm is a little bit big to my taste at the moment. I went down on one of my last pairs. I went down to 1.75mm needles. I only have those in circular needles, and I really liked the fabric it gave for socks. A little bit tighter, a little bit, yeah, I really liked it. So I'm thinking to maybe buy some 1.75mm double pointed needles, because I also really like knitting socks on double pointed needles. Those are 15 centimeters. I think I will go up to the 20 centimeters. Not so much for knitting, because I really like the 15 centimeters. There's not enough room for 1/4 of a sock to fit the stitches on. The only thing is that I can't try them on that easily, because then you stretch the fabric and then the stitches fall off more easy once you stretch it over your foot when you try to fit them with the needles still in there. So maybe I will go up to the 20 centimeters. I have other sock needles in 20 centimeters and those are perfect as well. I think the carbons are the only Knit Pro needles that go down under, with the thickness, they go under 2 millimeters. I even saw like 1.5, and maybe they even go smaller. But with the zink needles, they stop at 2 millimeters. They don't go smaller. And I don't know why that is, but maybe it has to do with the strength or the bendiness. Because I have to say, those have not bent at all. And that's the nature of carbon fiber, I know. But it's still impressive that you have such a thin needle and it hasn't bent at all. Like normally with even with my circular needles, the thin metal needles, because you hold them in a certain way, at some point they start bending, and these haven't. So maybe I'll have to invest in the 1.75 millimeter needles to knit socks on, because DPN socks are so fun to do. This came out of the bag. It's a little scrap I had from a handspun bobbin. I don't know what I was thinking. I was just wanted to see what the color did and stuff like that. And I think I tied it the size of my waist, my wrist. This is not my waist. This is my wrist. Yeah, so maybe I can wear it as like a little bracelet or something. But I really like how the color is looking. Let me see if it will focus. I'm not wearing my lenses. I was wearing my glasses, and I don't like the glare of the lights in my glasses when I'm doing a video. It annoys me. I don't say it annoys other people. It annoys me. It doesn't annoy me when I look at other people, but it does annoy me when I'm editing the video. So that's why I take off my glasses. But it's very hard to see for me if everything is in focus. So I hope that was in focus. Yeah, I don't, maybe I will just pin it somewhere in my room or tie it to something in my room or something like that. But I was just curious how this yarn would be. So that's something I made, but I'm completely honest, I don't really know what to do with it. But it fell out of the bag with the socks. So yeah, that's that. Let's see, just some random stuff there. It's a strange video, this one is. Let's see, I was telling you about the other project, that I had a project I was knitting on in the car when we drove to our holiday destination, and I casted on a new project in the car, which is fine when you're on the highway. So I'm very glad that I casted on when we were still on the highway and not when we were on the bumpy roads of France. Because there was a point on the road where I was like, well, I will just stop knitting now, because every time I think I'm gonna knit a stitch, it just bumps off my needle. So which is fine, it's lovely to look out of the window over there, but yeah, it was a bumpy road. I cast it on an, oh, how is this pattern called? I can say it 1,000 times. Ranunculus sweater. I will put the designer in the description below because I don't know now. So I can't tell you now, but I knit one for myself last year, I think, in a cream color, and my mom was like, "Ooh, I like that one." So I was like, well, maybe I can knit you one day. That's always a thing with, I don't tend to knit a lot for people, other people than me. And now I'm telling you, I'm knitting one for my mom and I'm knitting one for my dad. They know it can take a long time for me to finish things because we're a year further and I just started it. So it can take a very long time when I want to knit something for someone else, and I don't know why that is and how it works, but in my brain that's a thing. So I tend to not promise people knits, because then every time you see them it's like, well, how are you doing on my this or my that, and yeah, I just can't cope with that. So that's why I don't knit for people, and when I do, I mostly don't tell them. And if I do tell them, those are people that know that it can take quite a long time for me to finish things for other people. So I started, this one is almost finished now. This is such a quick pattern. I knit this last year, as I said, for myself, and I think it was a week and it was done. I knit on this on the car ride to our destination. I knit on it on the road back. I did not do any knitting on it while we were over there. And so that's 2 days, like we were not a complete day in the car, so let's say that it was like 12 hours of knitting in total, maybe. And then I knit on it at home a few times, but not like every day. So it's quite fast project, because like I said, it's almost finished. For myself, I did the wide neck version. For my mom, I did the little bit closer fitting neck version. We will see how that works. If it really is not her jam the way this fits, I can always cut off the ribbing and reknit it in a different way. So that's something that could happen, but I think it will be fine, because it also stretches out when you're wearing it. The other one is growing a lot while using it, like it was over here when I knit it at first, but now it tends to slip off my shoulder, and I know my mom doesn't really want that, so that's why I went for the tighter neck version. So I did the complete yoke, the raglan increases. There is a bound of sleeve, because it's going to be short sleeved, and what makes it very fast is that the end of your shaping on the top will be your sleeve, and I think it's at me it's like over here, so that's a nice fit. And now it's just stockinette in the round, and it has to be I'm over halfway done for the stockinette part, and then it needs some ribbing, and then it's done. So that's very nice. Yeah, it's a fun pattern to work on because it's so quick. It's a loose gauge, which is nice for something short sleeved. With warm weather, you don't want a super tight knitted thick sweater, so I think it's perfect. And the yarn I used is Drops Belle Unicolor, and it's the color of this one is 07, and it's like a gray with a it has like a lot of strands, and one of those is pink. So it looks like gray just from afar, gray brown. But when you look closely at the thread, it's there's one different color thread in there, which is very fun, I think. So yeah, that's something I've been working on, and which is growing very fast. Let's see. I have two crochet patterns I'm working on. And I will show this one first. I've shown this before. It hasn't grown that much, but either way I've worked on it. I'm quite sure that, I'm quite sure that's a strange way to say it, but I'm not a fan of crocheting with mohair. There, I said it. I like the effect. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I just don't like it. It's such an annoying thing, especially when you have to wear it back. Knitting with mohair, I don't mind. I can enjoy it. The sweater I showed you at the beginning is double-stranded, so a other yarn with mohair, but knitting with mohair has never bothered me. But crocheting with mohair, it's just not my thing. Let's see, what's the front? You're looking at the front, I think. Yeah, so it's growing quite a bit. The front is done. I'm now crocheting the back. And once they're at the same length, they will be rejoined to knit the last sleeve. I really like the effect, especially when I'm holding it up like this on camera. It looks very fun. It really needs to be blocked because there's quite a lot of stretch in there, and I kind of anticipated on that, and I need that length for it to be not like, it has to be enough over my boobs to be decent. Like, I don't want something that ends here or just here, because when you put your arms up it will just come over, and of course this is something that's going to be worn over something, but I don't think that's a charming look. So I really have to block it, but that's fine. I did mess up at the edges a few times. Like, you have to hold everything in front or in back, and I'm just messing it up every time. Not the battery, but just there has been half an hour. My camera can only record half an hour at one time, and I cannot change it. I tried it, I cannot change it, so that's just the way it is. Let's see, I was talking about this crocheted top thingy. Yeah, so the pattern isn't difficult. Like, every row, there are two kinds of rows, one going one way and one going back. And for every color, they're kind of similar, only the placement of the long things to the rows beneath is in a different place, but the basics is the same. But every row I have to go back to the pattern and see with which color I'm working and where I have to put those connectors. I can, for one reason, I don't know what the reason is, but there must be one, but I just can't remember the starting numbers. And there are just 3 colors. If I can just remember for those 3 colors the starting number, that would make this so much easier, but I just can't remember. Yeah, I can remember for the pink one. For the bright pink one. I can remember that one. So that's a good thing. But yeah, it takes just a lot of time. And as I said, with the mohair, I don't know, because the thread is so thin and I'm using the same hook for all the colors, which is working perfectly fine. So for the thick yarn it's a little bit more dense, and for the thinner yarn it's getting a little bit more loose to stitch. But the mohair is sticky and slippery at the same time. Like, it's so slippery that I really have to be careful not to tighten the stitches too much, because the yarn is so slippy it will just be easily slip. It can easily slip off your hook, but it can also easily make smaller stitches. So I have to go very slow with the mohair. But on the other end, when you try to take it out, it's so sticky. So it's not my favorite yarn to crochet, if you haven't picked up on that. So yeah, it's going well. I'm almost done. I'm like, let me see, I need 3 repeats for the back, and then I can join for the sleeves, and then I have to finish all the edges. That's why I'm not getting too much, I'm not too bothered with the edges not being the way I want it, because you can, like, you're going to crochet over it, so it's going to be fine. And at one point I cut the yarn somewhere and just tied it together, and I'm just noticing a loose strand there, so I just tied it a little bit more. But yeah, you will crochet over the edges, so that will make a neat finish, and I think it won't be, you won't be able to tell where my mistakes were, so that's nice. So yeah, I really need to work on it, because it's really a summer, it's not for hot summer. I think in September it would be very nice to wear this, so it would be nice if I can finish it before September. That would be nice. So yeah, that's a crochet project I'm working on, but I'm also working on another crochet project, and I'm not sure if I have shown this on camera before. I'm working out of this book. This is a Dutch crochet book. That's very funny. Knitting, I tend to do everything in English. I have some crochet books in English, but I have to look at translations quite a lot. For knitting I don't have to do that, but for crochet I have to do that sometimes. I'm also very confused that they use the same terms for different things, whether it's an English pattern or an American pattern. That confuses me. But like, I think it's because I learned crochet in Dutch, so I tend to go for crochet books in Dutch. This is called Gehaakte wilde dieren, which is translated to Crocheted Wild Animals. Yeah, so there are quite a few fun ones in there. I think with handmade dolls, the eyes and the shapes are very important, whether they are cute or just stupid. I'm very very specific about my crocheted animals. And this book I did like. These are a few, let me see, here you can see a few of them. I think this is one of the first crochet books I've got when I was pregnant of my first child. And I already made a few. I've made all in different colors than there are here, by the way, but I've made the bunny, and I've made a giraffe for someone, and I've made the elephant for someone. The elephant is very cute. Yeah, and one that's not on here, but the one that I'm working on. Oh, my mom made this one, the snake, for the boys to play with. And let's see, the one I'm working on now is absolutely not my favorite pattern out of this book. Not the way it looks, and to crochet it's not my favorite, but I made one with leftovers for my son, and now my other child also wants the same thing. I said, well, I can't make it exactly the same, but I can make you the same thing. And the thing that is a chameleon. It's looking funky, right? But the thing is, with this chameleon, let me see if I can show you a picture without showing the pattern. Let's see. Yeah, like, you can turn him inside out. So you have two colors. You have one color on the outside and one color on the inside. And the inside is exactly the same as the outside. And you can flip them inside out, like through his mouth, which is very strange. But then it can change color like a chameleon. Only I hope for every chameleon out there in the world that he doesn't have to do that through his mouth and flipping himself inside out. But yeah, they really like it. They love to play with it. So I said, well, I'll make you one, but it will take some time. And he kind of understands that, so that's nice. So I said, which color would you like? He said green and blue. I was like, well, I will go see if I have any green and blue in my stash that I can use. So I went to all the cotton yarns, the thin cotton yarns I had, and I started. So I have a blue top and bottom and tail, and I have a green top and bottom and tail. As you can see, I used a lot of different colors in random order. I held two strands together to make it a little bit bigger, otherwise it would be a very tiny chameleon. So yeah, and I also made the green eyes, and I made the blue eyes. All has to be sewn together, and I have made one leg. And the reason this is not my absolute favorite thing to work on is that it's kind of annoying that you think you're done with something and then you have to make exactly another one. Like, then you finished the bottom in one color, and then you have to do it in another color, and then you're finished the top and you're thinking, oh, I'm just done the top and the tail is attached, and yay, I have accomplished something. And then you're like, yeah, but you need to do no other one. So everything is double. And with the legs I was kind of done at the moment. I will finish this, and I took it out to show you, because it always when I show things I'm like, I just should work on it again. So I hope this will help. But like, I made one foot or leg. I made one leg, and legs are very tiny in the round, and that crochet hurts my wrists easily. So I also have to take it easy, and especially when it's tighter crochet I have to be really careful not to hurt my wrist. So the small circumference things are the hardest. So I finished one leg, and I was like, yay, I finished the leg. Only 3, oh no, 7 to go, because I also have to make them for the blue one and not only for the green. So that's the thing with this pattern. Once it's all done, the assembly is quite okay, because they only have like legs, feet, how do you want to call them, legs to attach. You have to attach 8 legs. Okay, that's quite a lot. And 2 eyes for each color, so 4 eyes. So assembly is going to be a thing as well. But once that's done, the body is just one thing, and you crochet them together. Like, just, you don't have to sew that, you crochet them together. So that's quite satisfying. But yeah, it takes such a long time, and it eats yarn. Like, I had a lot of, I thought I had a lot of green and blue yarn, and that it would be fine, and that I would have lots of leftovers. But no, I think it will be quite a trick to be, like, if I hadn't joined in the yellows and the minty and the teal, both at the green and the black, the green and the blue, so those colors are in both sides, then I definitely would have a yarn shortage, and then I would have to order to make this thing, and I don't want to order to make this thing. I wanted it to be a scrappy project. So it's out there again. I've seen it again. I'm a long way in. You would almost say almost finished. Only 7 legs to go. But yeah, he will be very happy with it. So it will be worth it. It's a strange thing to flip a chameleon inside out through his mouth, but they love it and I love them, so I will make another chameleon. I think it will be my last one. I don't think I will make it again. Well, maybe if there is a child in my close friends, family thing that really wants one. Not the parents want one, not the grandparents want one, but the kid itself really wants one. And he says that not once to me, but so many times that I really believe him. Maybe then I will make another chameleon. But I think this will be my last one. Yeah, I think so. So that's a crochet thing I have been working on. My last work in progress I will show you at the end of the video, so that will have to wait a little bit more because there's one more thing that I want to show. I didn't bought yarn myself, but my parents, they went to in the same weeks on holiday as we went. They went to Sweden to visit my brother, for one thing, and yeah, I got a call. So they were in Sweden, I was in France, and I got a call and they were like, you have to see this. You have to see this. And they were in a yarn shop, but not like in a teeny tiny yarn shop, but in a really big, amazing yarn shop with lots of local yarn. So the sheep were from the region, and they also had other things, like they also had weaving yarn, and they had so much. I only saw like this much of it on camera, but they had so much yarn that I was like, what? When can I take a plane there? I never take a plane. We always drive with a company car, but like, this is amazing. I want to be there, but I couldn't go through my camera over the internet to Sweden, so that was a bummer. But yeah, I really loved only looking at it through the camera so much. So I said to my parents, well, maybe you can bring me some yarn, and they did. So that's very nice. They made the yarn. They made the yarn choice and color choice. They chose a local yarn, and it's lovely and amazing, and I love it a lot. And this is the colors they went for. So they went all pinks, and they're so nice. Look at that, how lovely these colors are. So I wanted to make a close-up of this yarn, but while doing that I was like, well, I need to keep the labels at the right order so that I know which label was which yarn. And then I bumped my table and they fell down, and I couldn't figure out which label was from which skein. So I will have to look. Oh, I see they have a website. So let me see if I can put it up. They have a website, so I can compare the colors there, and maybe I can figure out which color is which skein. But yeah, that's the thing. They were very tightly twisted. Like the skeins were very tightly twisted when I got them. So the first thing I did is give it a little bit more air. And the yarn blooms a lot. It has more breathing space now. And I think it's maybe a sport weight. It's not as thick as a DK, but it's, yeah, it's 350 320 meters for 100 grams, so that's quite a heavy sport weight. It's definitely not as thin as a fingering weight, but it's lovely. It's wonderful, and it feels very, yeah, it's a rustic wool, but it's also kind of soft. I think once it's washed and just used, I think it will only get softer. It's yeah, as I said, it's lovely. So I'm gonna try to pronounce this yarn brand, but I will screw it up. But I will put it in the description as well, and I will show you the label in a minute. Web Garner from Garnhuset I Kina. So Kina is the place where this shop is. Garnhuset means yarn house. So Dave Garner, you almost would think it's a yarn meant for weaving, but you can do whatever you want with yarn, right? And they do have a website, so that's very nice. And yeah, that was just a lovely surprise, and kind of surprise, not surprise. It was a surprise to see the shop on the video, on the phone. The colors were a surprise, but I knew they would take me some yarn. So yeah, those are my new yarnies. Do other people do that as well? Hack their yarn? I do. I love them. So this will go in my stash, and I will think about what to make with it. It needs a lovely project. I don't know if I will keep them all together or use them with other colors, or I just don't know yet, but I'm very happy with it. So now my last project. If you... I dropped something. Oh my god. If you don't want to see the West Knit Surprise Sock Along, have a nice day. I will see you next time. Loved it that you watched this video, but please leave it at this point. If you do want to see my progress, just keep watching. I'm gonna show you now. So I'm opening the bag. If you're not done and you don't want to see it, go now, because I'm gonna show the West Knit Mystery Sock Along. So I'm in my bag, so if you don't want to see, go away. I'm gonna show it now, right? Okay, so I am doing both socks at the same time. I put the balls in the sock so they don't get tangled, because they're in the same bag. I hope the rain isn't bothering my audio, messing up my audio, but I'm gonna finish this video now, so you will just have to deal with it. Deal with it. Okay, so right sock, left sock. I'm knitting on the pink zink needles from Knit Pro. Those flexi thingies from Haya are just to hold the other sock, to keep hold of the other sock while knitting on the other sock, if that makes sense. So this is my right sock. I knit the first clue, I knit the first part of the second clue, and I was so in the rhythm of the pattern that I changed to my left sock. And I'm now at the point of the heel flap, and because these are on my pink needles, I will first knit the heel flap of the left sock, and then I will knit the heel flap of the right sock. And before I do that, I will switch those back to the pink needles. Now, there is one little thing. So I'm knitting both socks on exactly the same needles. However, it looks like my left sock is bigger than my right sock, and I can't figure out why that is. I just can't. Maybe at the cuff there's definitely something going on, and I may have messed it up because it's black yarn and we were on holiday and we were outside with some candles on, and I wanted to knit for as long as possible and I didn't want to put on the light, so maybe I miscounted a row or two, or I did a repeat in the cables there because there is like a cable detail just over here. I don't know if you can see that in black yarn on camera. In real life you can see it, but there's like a cable detail, so maybe I've done the same row twice or so. Yeah, I don't know, but it looks like the left one is bigger than the right one. All through the sock, not only at the cuff, but like also in the leg here. It looks like it's just a tiny bit bigger. Nobody will see it when I'm wearing them. Maybe they feel a little bit different on the foot. That can be a thing. But nobody will see it. It's just me that knows it. But yeah, I just don't know what happened. But yeah, so first I will just show one that's easier. First, like, they are giving me like Wednesday Adam vibes completely, and I really love that. So that's a really good thing. Black and white, you can never go wrong, right? Knitting black yarn is hard. Every time I do that, I love it. I love the finished thing, but it's hard. So the first part was like this zigzag, and I was like, well, I was curious, like, how is he gonna do this? Because this is a very nice zigzag pattern. Is he just gonna continue this to the heel and do something funky with the heel and then go back to this pattern and call it a sock, and the mystery is how do I do the heel? But no, it's Stephen West. So once clue 2 hits, you change the pattern for the leg. It just happened. So, and I was like, I don't know if it's gonna look too like take your scissors, glue two charts together and call it a design. I don't think it does look like that. It's quite cohesive. He really thinks about how he goes from one pattern to the other, and it growed on me while working on it. But it's gonna be a funky sock, right? So yeah, I'm gonna knit the heel flap, and clue 3 is already out, but as you can see, I'm not there yet. But then there will be like the gussets, I think. Yeah, so then we will see what starts on the foot. I think this pattern has to come back some way. I think so. I don't know if he's gonna bring this one back. Maybe on the top only or something, I don't know. But yeah, they were very fun to work on. The other thing is this leg. I don't think I have a sock in my hand knit, or not hand knit. Well, I have like knee-high socks, but those don't count. Those are not socks. Those are knee-high socks. Yeah, I don't think, at least hand knit socks. I never wear my socks that high, so that will be a thing. That will be something new. So yeah, but it's always fun to. I know not everybody is a fan of mystery knits. I don't like every mystery knit, but I really like the West knits mystery knits, because there's always a surprise there. You never exactly know what he's gonna do. Especially the last shawl, I was like, what's gonna happen? And I like that part of a mystery knit along. I like crazy things once in a while, so I will just wear them. I wear the crazy shawls. I will wear the crazy socks. I don't mind. I like that. I know a lot of people are a little bit afraid of his designs because they can get so crazy. But I think they're always in a shape that you can do something with it. I really like it. So yeah, the funny thing about this is that's such a small pattern. And yeah, you get inspiration from it. Like I saw the stitch pattern for the heel flap and I was like, that's a gorgeous fabric. You can use that on other things. So yeah, I really like doing the mystery thing. So if you don't, then you don't. But I really that's what I was gonna say. What I like the most is seeing all the colors of other people. So I have knit on mystery shawls that I didn't want to see before I knitted the clue completely myself, and that I skipped Instagram and didn't watch the videos, and that I just was like, no, I want to figure it out myself. That's fun. But what I like most is seeing all those patterns emerge and everybody's knitting everything on the same time. Nobody knows what the finished thing is gonna be, but you all have made your color choices. So I chose black and white. He said high contrast and I was like, I'm not gonna take any chances. I'm going for the highest contrast I can get, black and white, and it's perfect. But I really like everybody picked his colors. Almost everybody picked his colors before you know what it's gonna look like, and it always gives surprises, and I really like that. So that's the last project I want to show you. I have other things done, like we had holidays, so I did some spinning, but I'm not at the point that I can really show anything of that, so that will be in the next video. Okay, I've been talking for more than an hour, so I really need to wrap this up now. So I talked about spinning, I did some coloring, I did some bead weaving, I did a lot of other things. I did sewing right before we went, so I sewed this dress, but I also sewed a dress with flowers, a white creamy fabric with flowers on there. It's so fun. And I made a wrap dress out of that, and I completely made up the design myself, and I really love doing that. I will show that maybe another time because it's just, an hour is too long, you guys, but it's been such a long time since I showed you everything, and I showed things I already shown you, so it's kind of my own fault. But yeah, I will just leave it at that. I will see you soon, and I hope you have a very nice summer. Bye bye.